When you're purchasing a new sandblaster, you always want to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck, but you also want to make sure that you're getting a quality machine. And that's what we're going to be going over today, is how you can verify just that. Let's get into it. Now, the first thing that you want to verify when you're actually purchasing a sandblasting cabinet is that it has a welded cabinet and welded hopper. Now, the reason that this is very important is if you guys are going to be using this in any sort of clean area, or if you just want to verify that you can keep the abrasive inside the machine, this is incredibly important. Now, a lot of companies like to do overlapping panels that you have to bolt together or need to be riveted together, and those typically leak no matter how well you try and actually seal those. And that's just the nature of sandblasting. It's very aggressive. It can actually eat away at the sealant that you put in between those panels. So a fully welded cabinet is very important. Now, the next thing that you need to verify when purchasing a sandblasting machine is that it has a high quality powder coat. Now, all of our cabinets do have a high quality powder coat in this nice tan color. And the reason I say specifically powder coat is if you guys have a cabinet that is painted, of course you know how paint is, it flakes off, especially on sheet metal. But powder coat, it's actually bonded to the surface and it lasts much longer. Now, the next thing that you want to verify that your cabinet has is excellent interior lighting. Now, I actually want to show you guys this on a wet blasting machine because these lights that you see in here are the exact same ones that we use on our sandblasting cabinets. But these of course have to deal with water and are subject to a much harsher environment than your standard sandblasting machine, and these things hold up just fine. Now, the next thing that you want to verify when actually purchasing a sandblasting cabinet is that it has high quality consumables. Now, what I mean by that right now is that it has a high quality window and high quality gloves. Now, we use these same rubber gloves that we use in our wet blasting cabinet because these have absolutely no leakage and they keep your fingers nice and safe. Additionally, with this window, it's the same window that we use, so it's incredibly abrasion resistant, and in our sandblasting cabinet, we actually made it easier to replace. That way, if you do need to replace one, it's easy to do so, because all you have to do is simply remove these nuts, slide the window out, and slide a new one in, and you're back up and running. Another consumable item that is very important is the actual blasting gun. Now, we do use the same blasting gun that we use in our wet blasting cabinet in our sandblasting machines, and that's because of this boron carbide nozzle. This thing is incredibly abrasion resistant. We hardly ever have to replace them. They're a lot better than the standard ceramic tips that a lot of other sandblasting cabinets use, and we have never had any issues out of these. Now, another cool thing is we can actually size the air jet and the nozzle tip to your machine depending on the air compressor that you have to run. That way you can get the optimal results with the setup that you guys have. The next thing that you guys need to check is that it has high quality air components. So as you can see, we use precision air regulators on all of our machines, as well as filters. So when you actually get this machine, we're filtering the air as soon as it comes in, and you can easily see what pressure you're running at up top. That way you can get optimal results. The next thing that you want to verify is that your machine has proper safety devices. As you can see, this machine has a door switch. That way you can verify the machine is closed. Now, this is especially important if you guys are operating in any industrial settings or in a team setting where multiple people are operating the machine. And again, that's solely for safety purposes, but on all of our industrial sandblast equipment, that is standard. So now that we've covered all the things you should look for whenever purchasing a sandblasting cabinet, we can actually look at the things you should look to validate when you're looking at their upgrades. Now, beside me here, this is actually our dust collection system. And if you guys are looking to use a sandblaster in an industrial setting, you know how important dust collection is. It basically allows you to have high visibility while you're operating. It allows you to use a reclaimer, and it just makes sure that you're not exhausting spent media and debris into the air. Now, with one of these, it's very important to make sure that you have a high enough CFM rating for the actual media that you're blasting with. So if you're blasting with heavier abrasives, it's very important to make sure that you have a high CFM dust collector to actually go with your machine. Now, that's something that whenever we're going through the sales process with you and we're validating what media you need to be using, we will spec a specific dust collector for you guys. That way you never have that problem. If you actually take a look inside the dust collector, you can see that we have a HEPA filter. So it goes down to that specific micron, meaning that we're filtering out all of those particles. That way it's not harmful to you, the air that's actually coming out of this machine. At the bottom, we do have a drain. That way you can easily remove all of the dust that's being collected. And there's also a purge that happens inside this filter. That way it's not constantly clogging itself up. So as you're blasting, it's actually removing the dust off the exterior of that filter. That way you're getting proper filtration. Now, the next item on our list is actually very important if you're looking into an industrial sandblasting machine, and that is a reclaimer. Now, the purpose of a reclaimer is to actually separate the dust from the usable media, and the way that that operates is as you're blasting, the dust collector is again pulling the airflow through the entire cabinet. The abrasive goes along with it. It gets pulled into the top of the dust collector where it circles. The good abrasive actually falls down into the hopper below to be sent back into the cabinet, and the dust gets pulled into the dust collector. So what this is very important for is if you guys have a tight spec tolerance and you need to verify that you're getting the exact same results every time, a reclaimer guarantees that the abrasive that's actually being supplied to the blasting gun is within spec. So you guys can always count on having a good quality finish if you have a reclaimer. Now, the next thing on our list are rubber lined walls and wear plates. Now, when you're actually sandblasting inside of a sandblaster, you know it's very violent because you do have abrasive flying around, and that can actually begin to wear on the cabinet itself. So rubber lined walls are a perfect addition if you guys know you're gonna be blasting larger parts where you're gonna be closer to the edges of the cabinet, because again, that abrasive can start to erode the cabinet itself, and those offer a thin wall of protection and it can easily be replaced. Wear plates, on the other hand, are perfect if you're blasting with something like steel grit or steel shot, where the hopper takes a lot of abuse, and you can quickly lay an entire metal plate inside of the cabinet. That way, as the abrasive falls, it's nowhere near as detrimental to that hopper. And if they do begin to wear out, you can easily replace them. Now, the very last thing I want to talk about when it comes to a quality sandblaster is your choice between a siphon or pressure pot machine setup. Now, depending on what you're actually wanting to do, a siphon machine can make more sense as they are cheaper and they actually do not wear media as quickly. But if you're looking for speed, efficiency, and power, you have to have a pressure pot setup. And that just comes down a lot to media selection and the actual validity of using a siphon system in that style of blasting. Now, what I mean by this is if you're looking to use something like steel grit, a siphon machine cannot properly suck that abrasive to the blasting gun, whereas a pressure pot can forcefully push it to the blasting gun. But we can actually validate this for you guys. So if you have parts that you are looking to blast, we will do those for free in-house. That way you can validate which style of machine and what type of abrasive is perfect for your parts. That way you know you are getting the absolute best value for your money when you purchase a machine. So just to recap, there are a lot of important factors when it actually comes to verifying that you are getting a quality sandblasting machine. One thing I do want to mention is that we do actually manufacture these machines right here in the USA in Lincoln, North Carolina, with all of our wet blasting machines and our parts washing machines. And when you guys actually purchase a machine from us, you're not just purchasing a machine, you're also purchasing a partnership. What I mean by that is, similar to the free application testing program, we want to verify that you are getting the absolute best performance for your money. So we are willing to test these parts for free to make sure that this machine is going to give you the optimal results. And even after you purchase a machine, if you have any issues, you can always call us in. We have a dedicated staff here waiting on phone calls. If you have any troubleshooting problems, you can immediately call us and we will verify that you guys are up and running. With that being said, if you actually are looking to get a machine of this quality in your shop today, you can call us at 828-202-5563. If you have any questions or comments, you can always leave them below. We love interacting with you guys. If you would like to see us blast anything specific or do something with these machines, again, leave it in the comments below. We love hearing from you guys. Make sure you guys stay subscribed. We're going to be releasing a lot more content on these machines as well as our standard wet blasting machines, and we should have some cool projects coming up. So hope you all like this video and let me know what you think. Have a good day.